Hello. This video is for our Patreon subscribers, at least initially. Basically, I just wanted to take a few minutes. I recently, within the last few days, got back from my honeymoon, which was great. By the way, thanks for asking. But no, it's been a very, very busy few months for me. Obviously, you guys know it can be very difficult trying to put together a game, with a team of only 2 people, let alone a game, I would say, fairly ambitious, as ambitious as Streets of Blaze is. You don't see a lot of 3D games, with this level of detail. Not that it's super detailed, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, I just wanted to, say hi. It's been a little bit since I've seen or talked to any of you guys. If you don't remember, or if you're new, my name is Lucas. I am pretty much the one half of Leyline Studios. The other half is Dustin. It's been a really busy few months for us. Dustin having a baby, me getting married. I just finished up my school semester. So, we've been working on it in all the spare time that we have, but, now that I am kind of done with a lot of the things that were going on in my life, I can redirect, let's say 87 to 90% of my focus back into Streets of Blaze. It's still really important to me that the game comes out when we said we wanted to bring it out, which is the April time frame. But with Epic's announcement for the new store, we also kind of want to have something ready, to at least submit. I doubt it'll make it on the store initially, but it would be nice to have something ready to kind of put out there. One of the other things that we really want to do is, try and get the game on consoles. So the faster we can get it to a more final product, the easier it will probably be to secure some of the development materials and stuff like that we need in order to see that happen. I'd love to see the game on a Switch. My wife and I have been playing a lot of that lately. Well, she's been playing Red Dead. I've been watching and playing Pokemon on the Switch. But super excited to jump back into this. Don't have any of the latest update stuff, the major update stuff, ready to show off just yet. It's still very rough around the edges and kind of raw, and I'm still working through some of the bugs to try and get some of those bugs sorted out, so I don't want to make the game appear as though it's in a state of disrepair, but I would like to, I don't think I've had the opportunity to kind of go over some of the stuff that has found its way into the game since we released. We released back in, what was it, September? October? I can't remember. But, Dustin and I are very proud of getting to that point. It's been an absolute dream come true. We really want to thank everybody that's bought a copy, everybody that's kind of shouted it out on Twitter and social media. You guys all know by now that I'm old school. I get a little antsy around the social medias and the tweets and the Twitters, and I'm not very good at it. But it is nice to see people, proud of the product that we made and proud enough to talk about it on social media, so that's very much appreciated. Obviously, we super appreciate our Patreon supporters, really appreciate all the people that backed us on Kickstarter. It means the absolute world to us. I know I keep saying that, but I mean, just seeing people with the same amount of excitement as we have for making the game is really cool. And as everybody knows, you can't work and continue doing things for free. You got to put a roof over your head. I have a day job. Dustin's got a day job. I'm also going to school, so there's tons of stuff involved with finding time to work on this, and we're really, really excited to eventually get to a point where we get to go full time. So in the meantime, your Patreon donations and everything like that, even though we don't have a lot of supporters, the support goes a very long way as far as emotional support, and even just some of the random business things, like the minutia, mailboxes, website, that sort of stuff. So it really goes a long way, and we definitely appreciate it. But anyway, enough of me flapping my gums. Let me just jump into it. I know the game's not very long. We don't have a lot of levels. That's one of the reasons we're trying to work on, kind of a phased level dissemination, the core of the game is what we're really trying to focus on because we want the game to feel fun, and part of it feeling fun, the levels are, I don't want to say they're separate because you always want to consider both of those things in the same breath, but I can develop the systems and things like that in a little bit more of an isolation mode. You know, since I'm mainly programming some of that stuff, and then Dustin is kind of taking our level concepts and fleshing them out, making them look good, making them look, you know, really good, and then we kind of put our heads together and smooth all that stuff out, you know, reintegrate some of the concepts and the gameplay concepts that would kind of function off of level design things, and create a little bit more of a synergistic gameplay loop, if you will. But anyway, I'm gonna hop into our arcade mode and just get going. I hope you guys really like the this comic art. I mean, I think it turned out really good. Made the decision to go without any text or anything like that because I think the context kind of speaks for itself, and it adds a little bit of intrigue, and you can, you know, basically throw your own perception as to what's going on there. Things will be not necessarily explained, but you'll get more details to the story as the story goes on, especially after they jump through that first portal there. One of the other things we're working on, obviously, are new character models. I guess it's not obvious, but we are working on new character models because these character models are, you know, I used bases from a few different things to kind of put them together, but they weren't created from scratch. So it's kind of important to the identity of the game, since I mean it's a brawler, and brawlers are really, the characters are the coolest part of it, so we really want to make sure our character models are super cool. Let's see, who do I want to play as? I will play as Cool. Let me think. What else is going on? So, one of the things that I added in an earlier update were the graphics options. You know, I felt kind of bad initially because, you know, I programmed this on a couple of computers. You know, I had a wide range of machines that I was using to kind of program the game and put it together and test on and stuff like that, and they were pretty low spec, but, you know, it was unfair of me to just assume that that was the base minimum that anybody's working with. So we made some adjustments to the menu and gave you the ability to, you know, change your graphics options to something that would run a little bit better in your machine. And if you turn them all the way down, you actually get a little bit of a retro, you know, pixelated look. One of the things that I noticed watching other people play the game is the controls aren't super straightforward. It's a new game, but it's inspired by, you know, classic games. And in classic games, I mean, there were very few times I knew how to do moves or anything like that in the game. So a lot of it was figuring stuff out. We don't necessarily want people to just have to figure everything out, but we do want there to be a little bit of depth to the combat system that doesn't seem like depth on the surface, because we want to make it easy for people to play and people to pick up, you know, like kids, and that's kind of why we went with the 2-button system. So you got your jump and then your punch there, and any combination of, so you can double tap to sprint, for instance. If you double tap to sprint and you actually start sprinting, the move you do is different than if you double tap and sprint cancel, which is like a, you know, it's a shortened version of it, but it does actually deal, I think, about the same amount of damage. I can't remember, but it's definitely more powerful, and it has the knockdown potential that you would get from a heavy attack. One of the other moves, which is actually kind of a holdover from games like Streets of Rage, is if you hit jump and punch at the same time, you do a little back attack. And this brings up a good point. The animations and everything, they're not final. I'm still working on them, but it's kind of difficult to do the programming, the modeling, the animations. You know, we're juggling a lot of hats all at the same time. So some things take priority. And right now, the functionality of the game is our major priority. So let me stop hanging around. If you use that jump and punch button while you're holding an item, you will throw it. So that's just another example of multi-use type stuff. You can see I picked up a finisher item there. It's basically energy drink. Go ahead and use it there. Makes you punch real fast. And then the advantage you get to punching really fast and not knocking them down is you can deal more damage before they actually hit the ground, so they have less chance of standing back up. One of the things I will bring up is feedback has been super duper helpful for making the game, you know, better. And even beyond feedback, but just watching people play it, like, we watched a few streams of people playing it, and I realized that it was almost impossible to see items and stuff like that laying on the floor. And so one of the things I did was I added this arrow. Oh my goodness. I added this arrow to the baseball bat and stuff, so you can kind of see it. And I think that was mainly in service of, you know, it's still a video game. It should be fun over anything else. It doesn't need to be hyper realistic. Especially since, I mean, it's a brawler. You're beating up hundreds of people. That's not super realistic. Here's a little bit of trivia for you. At one point in the game, one of the finishers that I have, I guess the game files are probably still in there, but there was like a little pistol you could pick up, and it just didn't feel right to have it in the game. It didn't feel like part of the theme of the game, which is kind of, you know, throw down, throw fisticuffs. We didn't necessarily need, you know, any firearms or anything in there, not at this point at least. Oh no. One of the things that the improved AI system is going to sort out is the whole delayed hit attack, or delayed hit effect. Sometimes you'll get hit, or sometimes you'll hit somebody and they'll get knocked down, or you'll get knocked down, and then like a few seconds later you'll hit the floor or you'll get knocked down. The improved AI is going to fix most of those like wonkier type issues, so hold out for that. You see me using the standard finisher there to knock people down. The other move is if you hold the one that I just referenced. If you hold the attack button, you get your finisher, and you can string that into combos so that if you needed to knock multiple people down, or if you needed to knock somebody down and focus on somebody else, you can kind of do that. So it's just one way of mixing things up a little bit. I think the system will feel a lot better once the newer animations are kind of thrown in there. You know, give it a little bit more gravitas and more speed. So it'll actually just make it feel better with just that aspect. But we are also tuning kind of the input windows and things like that, just to make the game a little bit more crispy. Same thing with the grapple system. Grapple system right now is functional, but it doesn't look all that great because the only animations I had available did not really support the functionality that I wanted to get in there. All right, let's face off our first boss. And there are also some bugs, some small bugs in the game, like you can move around and actually go to the exit. Somebody initially pointed that out to me. One of the other things that, you know, and now granted the game's been out for a little bit, well, it hasn't been out, but you know, it came out early access, and you've had access to the first few levels, so at this point I kind of want to point some things out and implore people to explore a little bit, because it's a new game. Old games had secrets, new games have secrets, we like secrets, everybody likes secrets, everybody likes unlocking things. If I step to the back here, you can see there's a box here. Unlock punks. Whoa, what is that? So right now it's basically just a flag. When you do actually unlock that though, in the final release of the game, you'll be unlocking things like costumes for the heroes, some minor effects, for instance. So like one of the effects that you can potentially unlock is the weapons last a little bit longer, and that sort of stuff. Specific weapons will last a little bit longer. For instance, one of the achievements is called Sluggers, and that makes baseball bats last significantly longer. And you get some additional effects and things like that. They also get, like, you know, some costumes that kind of reflect what it is that was unlocked, and you select all those things from the character select menu or in between levels. We haven't figured that out just yet, but that is essentially how that would work. Let me think. Yeah, so right here we were talking about secrets. You'll notice it doesn't automatically take you to the next level, right? So if you were the explorer type and maybe backtrack your way through the level, what's this? It's just a little bonus level. And also your first encounter with our blocking enemy and an ortho clone. Even though we made this game, sometimes it still surprises me how cool it can be. We still got a long way to go, but it's coming along, and we're proud of it. So yeah, for instance, this would be another unlock for a costume or something of the sort. And then it takes you to the next level. We're working on a couple different ways to do the level transitions. We might keep it simple. We haven't really decided. But our main thing is we want to focus on the gameplay. We want to make the game fun. So as long as everything that we do is in service of that, then we'll be alright. We'll be okay. I don't really want to give away all the secrets, but it's Patreon. There aren't too many people watching. Wink, wink. I think altogether in the demo there are 4 secrets to find. So that'll be the last one I show you guys. 5, sorry. Yeah, it's 5 secrets to find. Well, it might be 6. It depends. Check Steam. Steam has the correct number right now because we added the achievements in for that. But for some reason they're not triggering. I think that has something to do with the API. We need to figure some stuff out. Ooh. You know, it's funny. You hear stories of game development and stuff like that, and people talking about the things that they enjoyed working on, the things that were difficult to work on, and sometimes the things that are difficult aren't really big things that people notice, and sometimes the things that people, you know, notice weren't that difficult to do. For instance, on this level, getting those guys to kind of step off of the train was an absolute nightmare. It took me like a week and a half to figure out how to get it to work properly. But we're having a lot of fun. This is fun. Pick that up. Pick that up. You know, we also really want to make sure that the style of the game kind of stands true, and that's one of the reasons. Like, you know, you got this gritty subway and the trains that pass by. We want it to feel real exciting. You know, when I play Turtles in Time, which, believe it or not, I do pretty frequently, that game just excites me. You know, just playing it, it's hard to stay calm while playing it. And that's one of the things that we really want to do. We really want to deliver something that's exciting, gets you real amped up to play. And you create some cool moments for you and the people that are playing with you. Oh, more enemies. Pineapple. In some of the future levels, we're looking to do some really cool things with the camera, so that it's not super static and pretty standard. So that'd be fun. One of the other things that's kind of important to us to potentially do with the character models is create a bit of a distinction between the enemies. You notice I kept all of the blocking enemies, they have the vest on so that you can kind of tell, and I kept the color the same so that it was pretty easy to tell them apart from everyone else. But they also have an additional effect when they're blocking. But we're gonna make some of that a little bit more pronounced so that it's easier to tell, you know, what kind of enemy you're fighting. Oh no, what's this? And yeah, the train we cut short intentionally, mainly because we're having an issue with one of the transitions, and we want this to be kind of an exciting set piece, so we didn't necessarily want to give away all of it right off the bat. So there will be some really cool things that will be featured in this level that will be featuring in the major content update that we're working on, that will be out hopefully before the end of the month. The Hazmat update. We're calling it that because we're also hoping to have the Hazmat character model ready to go, at least in a more finished state, so that she can be implemented into the game. Hazmat's probably my favorite character. Oh no. Inspired by, you know, just she's actually inspired by some of the people I grew up around, and also, you know, some characters from some video games that I really enjoy, like Street Fighter, you know, has a character by the name of Sakura. She's pretty cool, and you know, very strong personality, strong person, so pulled a lot of inspiration from that. One of the, I guess you can call it an Easter egg or something like that, is her jacket is actually the jacket of an enemy concept. Like, she's basically beaten one of these guys and taken her jacket, or his jacket, and ripped the tail end of it off. And the jacket's actually supposed to kind of resemble the characters of the Signal Brothers from the, not just Streets of Rage. There's a character, I feel like there's a character in every beat 'em up that has a jacket with a symbol on the back. So that was kind of one of the staple type things that we wanted to hit on to kind of make the game feel a little nostalgic. And yeah, she wears the jacket over her school uniform. In the original concept that I had for her, she was wearing her backpack as well. So that may be like an unlockable costume. That was louder than it needed to be. I will also let you know that this is not the only elevator in the game. I love elevators. You can ask anybody. Elevators are so exciting. Screw that up. Oh man, it's getting serious. Grab him. Yeah, and the struggle was finding an audio track that was exciting enough to go with the elevator level. Bit of a struggle. I had to edit some of the tracks that we had available together in order to make this loop. I really hope people are enjoying the game. I obviously, when I say enjoying, I don't mean there's not a whole lot to enjoy continuously. You know, what is here is not a lot, obviously. But what I mean is, I hope that people play it and they get, you know, what it's supposed to feel like, which is, we wanted to make a new game that feels super old school, and that's basically it. I love beat 'em ups. Those games, I'd almost dare to say those games brought my family together. So we really wanted to make something that was that fun, that exciting, and you know, we also wanted to play to our strengths. And Dustin and I are both 3D artists, so it was real easy for us to, not easy, but you know, it helps us to kind of fall back on some of the things that we're familiar with and some of the things that we can do rapidly in order to kind of rapidly produce this game. So like a 3D models, putting levels together, that sort of thing, we can do that with, you know, great efficiency, and even just casting the look of things, you know, like getting the red light to kind of, I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see where I'm pointing, but getting the red light to kind of bounce off the walls and things like that. Like, we're very kind of artistic in our vision of how we want things to look, so it kind of helps us do things from beginning to end. And you know, a lot of these levels aren't necessarily the final versions of them. You know, we've got some tweaks and a list of things, a checklist of things to kind of knock off as far as making the levels look a little bit better. But definitely a great, you know, we put this alpha build out there so that people can really get a hold of it, and we can all shape it into being an excellent game. I'm also really proud of this Blackhorn introduction. The music and everything turned out real awesome. His character model is super preliminary. I needed to get him into the game in order to launch, so I spent maybe a couple hours putting that model together. So our final update to the game is going to be called the Blackhorn update, and it'll be the update that includes, you know, all the levels. Basically, the Blackhorn update will be the version 1.0. And so his finalized model and everything will be a part of that, along with the climactic end of the game. I'm gonna get it. So I said I wasn't going to show you all the secrets in the game, but again, this is still an early part of the game. You're only playing the first few levels, so there's going to be plenty of opportunities and plenty of things as the game moves on for you to discover all those secrets. I won't give them all away in the future, but I will show this one off just because, you know, like I said, the game's been out for a few months. obviously this is the portal that you're going to be jumping into in order to continue and to go to the next level. Now there will be a cutscene that plays during this part, so it won't just be like, oh, what am I supposed to do? I got to figure it out. So it'll be a little bit more simple to understand. Hey, jump into this portal. But at the same time, if you remember, you know, these levels don't necessarily just end. If you go back to the elevator, it'll take you down to the basement. Oh, it's dark. And you fight a robot. Now, this probably isn't the final version of what you'll fight down here, but the concept is still the same. You basically go to the basement and you fight a robot for this secret and achievement. Unlock, and then it'll automatically throw you into the teleporter, basically play the teleportation cutscene, which then takes you to the first kind of interdimension that you go to, which is the medieval level. So you get a little teaser there. Hopefully that didn't anger too many people. We wanted it to be exciting. You know, we wanted you to get excited for what's coming up. So again, just to reiterate, work in progress. We're still working on it. I'm so happy that you know, for the most part, it seems like the people that we've talked to that have played it enjoy it. Once some more reviews kind of come in, you know, we'll be able to see more of the general consensus of the game. But we are still working hard. This is basically just an update video to tell you guys that, hey, I'm back in town. We're hopping right back into grinding on the game, because we've got not just this that we want to do, but you know, after this game is kind of out there in version 1.0, we've got some other ideas that we think you guys will find that are pretty cool, and we're excited to work on them. So my name is Lucas again, if you don't already know. I'm one half of Leyline Studios. This was Leyline Studios Patreon update number 1 video, number 1, Streets Ablaze. Like, subscribe, do all that other kind of stuff, whatever. Yeah, actually, like and subscribe. I shouldn't discount that, right? Social media is important. Like the YouTube video, subscribe to the YouTube video, follow us on Patreon if you're not. Well, you guys are, but if this video gets posted in the future, follow us on Patreon. You know, those donations go a long way towards the goal of us going full time working on these games, so that's super important, and we super duper appreciate everybody's help and assistance, especially, you know, feel a little bit bad about the way the Kickstarter turned out, but you know what, that was the first step in seeing how much support, you know, we could get from people, and the amount was far exceeded you know, what I could have ever hoped for. So I am forever grateful, and that's why, you know, we've decided to continue including all of our Kickstarter supporters in the credits, and you know, that's yeah, we super duper appreciate the support. I don't know why I'm continuing to talk. I'm actually pretty tired. It's been a long day today. But definitely wanted to get this video out to you guys so that you know that we're still diligently working on things. And the next video update will actually show off some of the things that we're working on. I just want to get some of those bugs ironed out, so that the build that you just saw me play is actually the build that is up on Steam right now. So if you go play it, you'll have access to, you know, if you haven't played it, you'll have access to the graphics and the audio options that have been changed. So I'm actually playing the game in windowed mode. I know that was a big request for people that were streaming the game. So yeah, there's a window mode, and like I said, you can change some of the graphics options. All of it works with the controller. So thank you for coming along for the ride. I'm gonna stop talking. The video's already been long enough. I hope you guys have a great day and a great rest of the week, and hopefully get to talk to you guys in the next few days. Thanks.